Today we're looking at an industry where the number of jobs is actually expanding. And for a change, women are getting involved. And did you know that before Walt Disney selected Anaheim as the site for Disneyland, 3 other Southern California cities were under consideration? Would you want Disneyland in your town? Also, have you noticed that most nail salons are owned and operated by Vietnamese immigrant families? Most of these people had no experience in nail salons, but a Hollywood star got the Vietnamese immigrants started in this $90 million industry. Okay, let's talk about jobs. It's the #1 issue in the country. Here in California, the state is phasing out a program that provides ready-to-go job skills for high school students in growth industries like healthcare and auto repair, which, by the way, is an industry where women are finally getting involved. Remember, there was a time when people who fixed cars were called grease monkeys or mechanics. Well, not anymore. The job of repairing cars now involves computers, electronics, and high-tech skills. They call them auto technicians now. This upgrade in auto technology is creating thousands of new jobs.
The job opportunities are great. In fact, the U.S. Department of Employment is predicting 3,600 new jobs annually through 2018, which is tremendous growth.
Still, people hired to repair cars will need to be up to speed on today's high-tech vehicles, which are loaded with computers and electronics. Would you believe there are more computers in today's cars than there were in the first lunar landing module? You know, the one that went to the moon. Indeed, take a look at this 1955 Chevy engine. Back then, people used to fix cars like this themselves. Not anymore. The average car today has about 16 computers and complicated electronics. There's now a shortage of people who can repair today's cars. This dealership in Orange County claims it will take 4 to 6 months just to find one qualified auto technician.
We have immediate need for 2, probably future expansion for 4, and then we have a hard time to fill them.
So this is a growth industry.
Yeah, and I'm only one dealership, and this is common for all the dealerships in Orange County.
Actually, in garages, one thing that hasn't changed, well, you don't see many women working at auto repair jobs. I haven't seen too many women in doing this job.
There's a few, but they're probably 1 in 100 maybe.
How many of those jobs will go to women, you think?
I think a larger and larger percentage each year.
Things are changing already. Meet Eileen Melendez. She was the 2-time national champion in the Hot Rodders of Tomorrow Engine Builders competition. That's right, Eileen was judged to be the best junior engine builder in America twice. When did you get interested in fixing cars?
It's been a family thing. My dad has always been into cars. My grandpa has been a mechanic ever since, so I kind of just grew up into it, loved it ever since.
How old were you when you began fixing your first car?
About 10 or 12 years old. My grandpa was holding the hood up for me while I just played around with things.
Eileen studied auto technology in a 4-year high school class, now being phased out by the state of California. In fact, this man, 20-year-old J.D. Greenhalgh, working at a Toyota dealership in Southern California, got his initial training in auto mechanics at that same high school career tech class.
Oh, it was very valuable. I feel like it set me up to basically make progress into my life and become the technician that I am today.
Working next to J.D., Luis Luera says he learned basic auto mechanics at that same career tech class in high school. Did that high school course play a role in what you're doing now?
Oh, of course, because that's where I started from, you know.
Now these same career tech classes that are preparing students for jobs in growth industries like auto repair will be eliminated because they are so-called categorical earmark programs that Governor Brown is cutting.
Now, the way we create greater control is we eliminate most of the categorical programs because they are built on bureaucracy, on auditing, on non-teachers being increasingly hired to manage the various complicated flows of money.
Master mechanics like Gary Upton, who hires high school trained technicians, wants to see career tech classes retained.
A high school program, as I've seen in the past, is very well thought out, very well done. And to lose that program, you would lose a part of the industry that we're going to need in the next 20 to 30 years. These cars are becoming more and more complicated as time goes by. And you need to have the young people come up from the high school level.
Another career tech high school course aimed at giving students job-ready skills involves healthcare, a booming industry in California where thousands of jobs are being created every year. This program is now being phased out also because of the change in education funding formula. This class is providing ready-to-go job skills for people like Stephanie Zamora, who wants to become a nurse.
I just feel like it's so rewarding, like you get to help people.
George Chavez will become the first in his family to graduate from high school.
My long-term goal is to become an anesthesiologist, and this program really, in my opinion, I think it's really going to help me get there.
What do you hope to become in the medical field?
A neonatal nurse practitioner. It's a specialist that works with newborn babies that are like sick or have abnormal problems, and I work to help and bring them back to health.
Why do you want to do that?
I love babies, and I was a sick baby myself.
Actually, other career tech classes in culinary work, computers, construction, and other fields will also be phased out under the new education funding formula, although school district officials say these classes appeal to students who might otherwise drop out.
They can take programs in high school now that will give them the skills and actually be able to graduate and leave high school with skills to go out and work.
Meantime, Eileen Melendez is preparing for what she hopes will be an exciting career.
Probably be able to work for NASCAR someday, hopefully.
What would you do for NASCAR?
I would like to actually be able to work with the chassis itself or the engine itself, making it faster, more equipped for the races.
Okay, let's talk about jobs and immigrants. A local woman who you may recognize recently received an award and scholarships created in her name for helping immigrants start an industry that has created thousands of jobs. I first covered this story in the 1970s at a camp for immigrants in the High Sierra, and we've been following it ever since. Most of the Vietnamese immigrant families that now dominate the nail salon industry had no experience in this business before coming to America. Many of them learned the craft at this cosmetology school in Little Saigon, Orange County, California, where thousands of Vietnamese immigrants have been trained to work in nail salons across the country. In fact, Vietnamese owned and operated nail salons have become nearly $100 million industry. But how did this happen? Immigrants transforming a business where they had no prior experience.
It all started with the godmother of the industry, Tippi Hedren. So back in 1975, as more and more people were starting to learn about the story, she sponsored 20 lucky Vietnamese immigrants out of the camp and sponsored them to go through a manicuring course.
There she is, the godmother of the Vietnamese nail industry, actress Tippi Hedren in 1975, on board with the Vietnamese boat people out in the South China Sea, where thousands of refugees were adrift after fleeing their war-torn country. In reaching out to help the boat people, Hedren's charity group actually rented a battleship.
We would take the people off their boats, bring them up on board, and feed them and give them fresh clothing, and they had showers, but because of international law, we had to put them back in their boats.
Once in America, the Vietnamese immigrants were taken to a refugee camp called Hope Village near Sacramento. There,
Tippi Hedren encouraged the women to learn a skill, manicuring, so they could earn a living in America. The first graduating class from cosmetology school passed their tests and got their manicuring licenses.
What I so admired about these women is that they were not only good businesswomen, they were good with their hands, and they did not want to be a burden to the United States. None of them did, and none of them have been.
Tuan Le was a member of that first graduating class of Vietnamese nail technicians in Sacramento. Today, she's still in the nail salon business, working in Santa Monica, and remembering the woman who changed her life, Tippi Hedren.
She gave me love, she gave me hope, she gave me strength, and she led me to a future.
Tuan Le showed us a letter Tippi wrote to nail salons in California, asking them to hire the Vietnamese immigrants. It worked. They got jobs.
They were able to get a job immediately because they were good at it, really good at it. And, yeah, we had a party.
Of course, those Vietnamese immigrants had never heard of Tippi Hedren, the Hollywood actress. Tippi at the time was a major star, working with famed film director Alfred Hitchcock in The Birds. She also starred in Marnie with Sean Connery. Before acting, Tippi was a successful fashion model and cover girl. But prior to all this glamour, Tippi grew up in Minnesota, where she was schooled in the Swedish Lutheran tradition of serving others, lessons she never forgot.
Tippi is not only a star in Hollywood, an incredible human being. What a wonderful American. What a wonderful ambassador to the world representing America. Truly typifies what America is all about. Welcoming of others into the country after a war. Helping with her heart.
Over the years, Tippi and those original manicurists have celebrated their success in helping to create thousands of jobs in this huge growth industry. The children of those original manicurists, second-generation Americans, have now become professionals in medicine, law, teaching, and business.
We are so thankful to Tippi Hedren for basically pioneering and starting off the group of Vietnamese immigrants to start off in this industry.
And here is your award.
Tippi has won awards and thanks from the Vietnamese immigrant community. Recently, a scholarship fund of nearly $200,000 was created in her name. At that ceremony, Tippi talked about the experience of rescuing the boat people.
Knowing what they had lost, which was everything, and everything down to their country. They had taken everything that they could hold that could bring money to them onto these little boats. And of course, then there are the bad guys and the pirates who would raid these boats and take everything, rape the women, and I mean, nightmare situations.
Nowadays, Tippi Hedren has become well known for Shambhala, a sanctuary in California that creates a home for wild animals who have been abused or neglected. But helping those Vietnamese refugees is Tippi's proudest accomplishment.
All I wanted to do was give those darling women who I grew so much to love a career, a future, something to look forward to, something to take care of their children. And it was a flying success.
By the way, in my view, Tippi Hedren ought to be inducted into the California Hall of Fame for what she's done to help others. Okay, our next story also involves people who deserve some kind of award. We call these guys the real California Angels.
From there, we'll go to West Hollywood.
Dave and Jim Schulke, twin brothers, have been partners in their LA plumbing business for 25 years. They've done thousands of plumbing jobs all over town, But one day they were called to this condo building in Burbank to fix a leak in the garage. Searching for the problem, Dave entered an apartment and noticed Steve Cothran, who lost his leg to diabetes. His father also bedridden with Parkinson's disease, and wife Dorothy coping.
I walked in, immediately met Dorothy, the mother, and I can just tell from meeting her instantly that something was going on. She just looked exhausted. She looked like the life was just taken out of her. I continued to walk into the condo and immediately saw her son, Stephen, in a medical bed in the living room, just laying there. I said, Dorothy, I don't mean to be nosy here, but I walked in your bathroom and looking at your husband, I'm assuming, and your son, they're not able to use this bathroom that I just saw, which was a big cast iron tub, that it was completely useless to somebody with that physical condition.
No doubt about it, Steve, with his prosthesis, had trouble using the shower tub.
There's a bathtub and it's about like that high. And when you have one leg, you got no way. You put a leg down, it's like, so getting in, trying to take a shower, it was really, really hard. Every time I took a shower, I'd have to have, somebody there to hold on to get out, because it was a shower tub kind of situation.
Reviewing the situation, the twin plumbers decided they would remodel the Cothrans' bathroom for free at no cost.
I don't know what it was, but something spoke to me like, I've got to do something. So it was a perfect fit. They were in need. I'm in the plumbing business. They needed a bathroom.
I told you I was shocked. And at first, you get so many phone calls that says, this is not going to cost anything, So when they said, remodel your bathroom, yes, I was surprised.
Well, today's the day. After getting permits and paperwork done, the plumbers and their staff spent more than a week completely remodeling the Cothrans' bathroom. They shot this video of the project. An easy-access shower bath was installed. They put in a new tile floor and made lots of other improvements. Steve's struggle with diabetes was made easier.
They put in, a safety bar. I can come in here, I grab onto this. I can sit down in my chair, take off my prosthesis, put it out of the shower, take my shower, dry off, stand up, and I'm out. Just like that. Before, I would have to actually have somebody to put my hands around their neck and have them help me out of the shower.
The new bathroom that was donated cost $20,000 to $30,000, according to the plumbers. Actually, you've gotten quite a bit of publicity on this. So in a sense, it was pretty good business, wasn't it?
It was. It's been a good thing. The community's had a huge response.
Sure, the twin plumbers were praised in news coverage, and that will probably increase their business. But thanks to that remodeled bathroom, the Cothran family's daily life is much improved.
All I could say is, God must have sent you, because otherwise, how would you have ever found us?
There's a supermarket war heating up in Los Angeles. The major markets are adjusting their new stores to fit the needs and wants of their particular neighborhoods. Supermarkets in Southern California are ratcheting up the competition. That old approach of one-size market fits all neighborhoods is gone. Now supermarkets are adapting, adjusting, trying to fit into their neighborhoods. Ralph's Markets has spent over a year building a huge new supermarket in Sherman Oaks. Initially, the local homeowners association objected to the size of the proposed new market.
In Sherman Oaks, there's a 30-foot height limitation.
along Ventura Boulevard. And this project is going to be much larger than that.
Ralph's modified the design and height of the market and made other concessions to satisfy people in the neighborhood. But size does matter. The new Ralph's will be at least as large as the huge Whole Foods and Pavilions markets further down Ventura Boulevard. Meantime, Gelson's markets have been sold to an investment firm which plans to expand the number of stores. A new Gelson's has opened in Long Beach, and one is scheduled to open in La Cañada Flintridge. Which market do you like?
Vallarta.
Why?
I like it for Mexican food and vegetable Latino.
So you shop at Vallarta?
Yes.
Indeed, Vallarta, with over 40 supermarkets, is one of the fastest growing chains in Southern California. Targeting the large and burgeoning Hispanic market, Vallarta provides customers with a place where they can shop and eat at the same location, something found at central markets in many Latin American cities. Still, the new strategy among many supermarkets is to try to get customers to spend more time inside the store and get comfortable here. Several years ago, Whole Foods began putting wine bars in some of its markets. Now there are more than 10 of them. A wine bar in a supermarket? What's your reaction?
It's odd, but it's nice. I kind of like that you have the different options to taste a little wine, take the bottle home, and drink it.
For people caught in the after-work rush hour, the supermarket wine bar is becoming a popular spot for people who want to unwind before buying food for dinner.
I think it's great. It's really nice to relax after work. It's nice to meet a friend, bring a couple of people with you on a Friday night after the week is over.
Actually, if you're hungry, you can walk over to the meat section, pick out a steak. They will cook it and serve it to you in the wine bar. That's new.
The best part about it is you can come get food from any place in our prepared food kitchens that we have here, and they'll deliver it right to you as you're having a glass of wine or beer, and you can enjoy it for as long as you like.
As the supermarket wars heat up, each market is trying to offer customers something unique and exclusive to that store. Okay, now we're going to Disneyland, where they had a special celebration last year to honor the man who advised Walt Disney to locate Disneyland in Anaheim rather than the 3 other Southern California cities that were being considered.
Round a corner, under a tree, good fortune's waiting, just wait and see.
The celebration began with a song, and the crowd loved it. Disneyland was finally honoring Harrison Buzz Price, the man who selected Anaheim as the place to locate the theme park. That's Buzz on the right, Walt Disney on the left. They're pointing to Anaheim on the map. The 160 acres, which is now Disneyland, was all orange groves before 1953.
Well, if you think about if he had picked another place, how different Anaheim would be, and how different Orange County would have been. But he was really good at what he did, and he picked the right spot.
Originally, Walt Disney thought about putting Disneyland in places like Burbank, Valencia, maybe even Long Beach. But in the end, Buzz Price picked Anaheim, and the rest is history. The man who created a revolution in family entertainment went to high school in San Bernardino, got an engineering degree from Caltech, and a master's at Stanford. Buzz Price was named to the Theme Park Hall of Fame, but why did he recommend Anaheim as the place to build Disneyland?
Anaheim was the place.
Why?
Well, it was a consequence of really looking at shifting population patterns. The population was moving in this direction. The freeway network was moving in this direction. The smog patterns were more favorable. The weather was better.
Buzz Price passed away in 2010 at the age of 89. As a consultant to Walt Disney, he also selected the sites for Disney theme parks in Orlando and Tokyo, and for CalArts in Valencia. Price talked about his projects in this interview.
50 years ago, we started doing this thing. Everybody was doing it on the back of an envelope. Walt had a certain form of special expertise. He was the world's greatest noticer. And he was always looking for how you could do what you're doing better.
Honoring Buzz Price at this event, a special window with his name on it was created at City Hall on Main Street in Disneyland. The crowds may never learn his name, but the happiest place on earth wouldn't be here without him.
What would Anaheim be like without Disneyland?
Well, I guess there'd be more oranges, but it wouldn't be as much fun.
Shouldn't there be a plaque, maybe even a small statue somewhere in Anaheim to acknowledge Buzz Price's contribution to that city? What do you think? That's it for this edition of the Drive-By Economist. I'm Doug Kriegel.